Tonight on CTV News at 6, families dismayed over a justice delay. Justin Bone, accused of beating two men to death in Chinatown, stalls his trial.
We just need to find a solution to how we can stop all these delays in the court system.
Dozens of young hockey players sickened at a Canmore hotel pool.
My kids were still complaining of back pain and chest pain before bed.
And Arctic Patrol, a mission to defend Canada's far north.
It does demonstrate sovereignty and our resolve to other neighbors like Russia and China.
Warmer weather is just around the corner as temperatures get back above average this week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The families of two men beaten to death in Chinatown are growing more frustrated with the court process. The man on trial for their deaths fired his lawyer this morning, then created a commotion in the holding cells. CTV's Amanda Anderson has the latest.
This past week has been really hard on the families, both ourselves and the Huang family.
Christina Trang is still processing what turned out to be an eventful morning in court. The man accused of killing her father fired his lawyer just a week into his second-degree murder trial.
Quite disappointed to hear there's more delays, and we just need to find a solution to how we can stop all these delays in the court system.
Justin Bone is accused of two unprovoked attacks in Chinatown in May 2022. 64-year-old Hung Trang, an employee at an auto body shop, and 61-year-old Bonfu Kwong, the owner of an electronics store, were beaten to death.
I want to stay strong for our family and the Huang family, and I think my dad would want us to be strong.
After defense lawyer David Woolsey finished cross-examination of an Edmonton police officer, Bone, who was allowed to sit at the desk next to his lawyer, stood up and fired him. "I'm ready to let you go," Bone announced to the court. When it was suggested he take a minute to speak with his lawyer alone, Bone refused, saying he wasn't satisfied with how his lawyer was dealing with charter issues or cross-examination of witnesses. Soon after Bone was taken to the holding cells, he began yelling and screaming so loud it disrupted a different trial in another courtroom. After a lengthy break, a sheriff informed the justice Bone refused to come back to the courtroom and threatened to fight. The justice addressed the defense, saying he's done a good job so far. The best outcome would be for you to continue as counsel, he added. Bone has had 5 lawyers, and this is the 3rd time Woolsey has been on the case. He will update the court tomorrow morning on whether he'll stay on as counsel or if Bone will have to represent himself. An amicus, also known as a friend of the court, has been present since the start of the trial. In the event Bone found himself without a lawyer. Their role is to ensure trial fairness, so with or without a lawyer, the trial will continue. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
A 27-year-old man is dead after his car broke down on Anthony Henday Drive and he was struck by a pickup. Police say the man's car was broken down in the far right lane around 8:30 this morning. It was struck from behind by a truck going highway speed. Police say the 27-year-old was the only person in the car. He died at the scene. The 23-year-old man driving the truck was taken to hospital for precautionary reasons. Well, it was supposed to be a fun weekend away in Canmore for some young hockey players and their parents. Instead, several of them ended up in hospital after falling ill playing in the pool. A day later, it's still unclear what made them sick. CTV's Tyler Barrow has more.
I just thought I had to worry about drowning. I didn't think that they were going to be poisoned in a pool.
Melissa Earle is having a hard time comprehending how 2 of her children ended up in the hospital on Sunday. They were in town for a U7 hockey tournament when her husband was with them in this pool at the Canmore Inn and Suites. Earle was about to join them.
2 kids came out and they looked like they had taken in a bunch of water, so I was checking on them. And then everyone just started running out of the pool. I was trying to get in, but I couldn't because everyone was running out. And then I heard people screaming, "Get out, get out." And all these kids come running out and they're puking everywhere.
She found her family and another mom was calling an ambulance. Emergency health services put mass casualty plans in place. Instead, 9 children were checked at the scene while their families told to head to Canmore General Hospital for further assessment. 1 child was taken by ambulance in serious but stable condition. And 1 other child was transferred to the Alberta Children's Hospital.
They ended up taking everyone into this room and checking oxygen levels and stuff.
The family's hospital discharge paper says poisoning was caused by cyanide. Cyanuric acid, which is a different compound, is sometimes used in pools as a chlorine buffer. Canmore Fire said its initial air monitoring detected an elevated level of a hazardous substance, which was suspected to be chlorine-based. In a statement, the hotel says there is no evidence to support claims about cyanide, adding so far testing has not identified any indication of deliberate contamination. Still, parents want to know how this could happen.
You have a tournament of 6-year-olds coming to stay, and there's kids everywhere. Like, you should make sure your pool's okay.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Canmore.
Canadian military helicopter crews from CFB Edmonton are taking part in a month-long training exercise. Marian Valdez-Carletti explains why they're heading north for it.
The CH-146 Griffins are gearing up for Exercise Striking Bat, heading north to Fort Wainwright, Alaska.
Exercise Striking Bat is our opportunity to go up north and work in the Arctic and really look to validate our crew's ability to work in the Arctic, subarctic environment.
The month-long mission is to help military personnel prepare for operations in the area. It will also involve U.S. aviation members and soldiers from Norway, Italy, and Mongolia.
We'll be doing the typical helicopter things with them, moving them around, providing support from the air, that sort of thing.
6 of these Griffin helicopters will be flying to the Arctic and making 5 stops along the way. The mission involves around 90 air crew and support staff, all crucial to the exercise.
It does demonstrate sovereignty and our resolve to other neighbors like Russia and China.
This exercise has been planned for over a year, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's comments about Greenland and NATO's help in Afghanistan after 9/11. CTV's military analyst says Canada and U.S. military relationships are strong, but Canada needs to do more on its own.
Given everything that's going on in the world politically, Edmonton and Cold Lake will even take on increased importance as projecting our capability to assert our sovereignty in the north.
Having a base like Edmonton and Wainwright, Cold Lake, and Suffield, these are just absolutely critical training areas for our preparedness and our ability to support anywhere in the world at any time.
Edmontonians might notice low-level flights over the next 2 days as the remaining helicopters head north. Marian Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Edmonton River Valley Advocate Group says plastic bristles are being left behind when the city clears paths and bridges. As Evan Kenny reports, the group is concerned about what the plastic is doing to the environment.
As Christine Kowalchuk walks through the river valley, she picks up little shards of plastic left behind when the city clears the snow.
Right now we're on the Tawatana Bridge, and 2 of us have picked up 430 bristles just this month alone. We're not even through the month of January yet.
She says since 2019, members of the Edmonton River Valley Conservation Coalition have picked up more than 16,000 bristles.
It's so many, and it is such a problem. And again, these are just the ones that we're picking up. So how many have not been picked up and are ending up in the river?
Those who use the river valley's paths tell CTV News the missing bristles are worrying.
It's a concern because animals are eating it, and it is ending up in the valley.
It isn't just on the bridge; it's everywhere, all over the river valley.
This is an issue for the fish, it's an issue for the birds, it's an issue for the people too who drink this water.
The city says it hears these concerns, but it must use bristle brooms to clear paths like the Tawatana Bridge to protect the bridge deck.
First and foremost, we of course want to make sure that in our winter months, our pathways, roadways, our entire transportation network is as safe as possible and clear of snow and ice.
The city says it's aware of cases of bristle debris and works to mitigate the environmental impact by taking special measures when sweeping bridges over waterways.
The public spaces bylaw that says that it's against the law to litter in the city. So why is the city littering and allowing all this plastic to enter our river?
The city says when the snow melts, staff will be sent out to collect the litter. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The new Coronation Park Sports and Rec Centre will open its doors tomorrow. The facility includes amenities like the Peter Hemingway Aquatic Centre, a running track, fitness centre, and the Alberta Velodrome. The city of Edmonton calls it North America's first indoor triathlon training centre. The city will hold a grand opening ceremony Friday. The doors open at 5:30 a.m. The city is offering a limited number of free admissions for the grand opening. You can find out more in the story at ctvnewsedmonton.ca. One of Leon Draisaitl's Olympic teammates will make his NHL debut with the Oilers tonight. Josh Szymanski was called up from the AHL and will play his first NHL game tonight when the Oilers host the Anaheim Ducks. The 23-year-old is playing his first season in North America after spending the previous 4 seasons in Germany. Szymanski will join Team Germany at the Winter Olympics next month and has 7 goals and 28 points with Bakersfield this season.
Obviously, you have great players here, so I'm gonna be excited to step on the ice and bring the energy.
He's been a very good 5-on-5 player, reliable defensively, but I think we were just talking about Kapanen earlier about having a little more speed to our lineup, a little more tenaciousness, maybe a little bit of physicality, but just a guy who can get in on the forecheck and play with some speed, and he has that.
Kasperi Kapanen is back in the lineup tonight after missing 3 games with a lower body injury. Tristan Jarry will start in goal. Local Olympic curler Mark Kennedy is heading to Italy this week with his team. Kennedy is 3rd on Team Jacobs, representing Canada in Milano Cortina. He already has 2 Olympic medals in curling. Kennedy says these games will be a little different because athletes from other sports will be so spread out, but that may be an advantage for the veteran Canadian rink.
Having been there before, I think we're okay with knowing we're a little bit separated from everybody and that we just have a job to do, and that's to go and compete and play well and, really focus more on the curling as opposed to all the other distractions that come within Olympic Games.
Alberta is well represented on both the men's and women's Olympic curling squads. 2 other members of the men's team and the alternate are from Alberta. The women's skip, Rachel Homan, is from Beaumont. Alternate is Rochelle Brown from Edmonton. All right, Josh, still a little cold out there. Not for long.
Yeah, by tomorrow, the real warming trend starts to kick in, which is pretty much what we were thinking late last week. We knew we'd get to about -6 or -7 for high on Sunday. We got to -6. It wasn't quite as windy as we thought it was going to be. And then today was going to be a step back. Well, we got to -9 for a daytime high. So, yeah, a couple of degrees cooler than yesterday. By tomorrow, should be back above average. We started the day at -14. And that's a typo. The average low is also -14, not 1-4. It's -11 in downtown Edmonton right now after that high of -9 earlier this afternoon. A little cooler outside the city, -13 Stony Plain Airport south of the city at -12 with a bit of wind. It's feeling closer to -20 with the wind chill. You've got some light snow falling in through the Peace Country and around the Edmonton area, although it's mostly, for the last couple of hours, been just off to the west and south of the city. And you can see in that purple zone, it is coming down I don't want to say heavier, but because it's been fairly persistent there along Highway 43, just off to the southwest of the city, you got a couple centimeters of snow on the ground. Here in Edmonton, it's starting to close in on us. It'll continue to move through over the next couple of hours, but it really doesn't look like we're going to see much more than a dusting to maybe a centimeter of accumulation. So this will not be a big snow event, and it should all be done shortly after midnight. -10 by tomorrow morning as temperatures start to climb after midnight, and we'll get all the way up to about -2 or -3 with some sun breaking through the clouds tomorrow afternoon. Should be a couple of degrees on the other side of 0 by the end of the week. Show you that with the 5- and 10-day forecast in a couple minutes.
Sounds great. Thank you, Josh. Coming up on CTV News, Alberta's new plan for oil sands royalties.
This money is not used to secure any corporate loans or anything else. It is.
More on how the province plans on taking bitumen to market also.
If she continues with that, that's a real dereliction of leadership.
The growing calls to get the Premier and UCP MLAs to denounce separatist talk in the province.
Tuesday on Your Morning, the warm-up we've been talking about arrives. We'll tell you just how warm it's going to get as January winds down. Plus, we're talking about what makes an ideal retirement. We'll see you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Alberta government is planning to collect oil sands royalties by taking bitumen instead of cash, so it can help bring the bitumen to market. It's authorizing up to $900 million in borrowing to that end. However, industry insiders say the province might use that money to attract an oil pipeline proponent, with taxpayers picking up the tab for any failed projects. CTV's Kevin Green reports.
Energy economists say a recent order in council that allows the province to collect royalties in actual barrels of oil instead of cash also gives the province the ability to borrow $900 million tax dollars to spend on marketing. But they also say it opens the door to backstopping private companies in a pipeline bid.
It says $900 million for hydrocarbon marketing activities, which implies doing what we just talked about. But it also allows for the purchase of shares, making loans, doing joint ventures, providing loan guarantees, or setting up subsidiary corporations.
Richard Masson was once the CEO of the Alberta Petroleum Marketing Agency. He says selling royalty barrels alone would not require anywhere near that level of borrowing authority. Instead, he says the borrowing authority lines up with what would be needed if the province were stepping in to reduce the financial risk for a pipeline company.
If there's no private sector proponent for a pipeline, and APMC is now going to step in and be the loan guarantor for the pipeline.
Masson says the upside could be better marketing access and stronger royalties, but the downside is a significant loss for taxpayers if a project fails. But Alberta's Minister of Energy says the close to $1 billion line of credit is simply for marketing the province's oil, not building or backing a pipeline.
This money is not used to secure any corporate loans or anything else. It is simply used as an overdraft to make sure that we are able to go into the business of selling products that producers give us to sell.
NDP leader Naheed Nenshi doesn't buy it and says the government is putting taxpayer money at risk.
The problem we have is this government has never shown any evidence of being competent or sophisticated or thoughtful when it starts messing around in the private sector, which they are now doing.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation says even if the $900 million in potential debt is just to help sell Alberta bitumen, it's a price too high to pay.
$900 million, right, of taxpayer money being put on the line by the government. That's a huge amount of money, and it's not, taxpayers shouldn't be propping up the government spending on this marketing, right?
Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Hundreds of Alberta separatists are rallying in Calgary. Before that, though, they were signing an independence petition in favor of the province seceding from Canada. Those signing the petition tell CTV News the relationship with Ottawa is broken and can't be fixed. The petition needs 177,000 signatures to be successful and pose as a referendum question to Albertans later this year. Today, Alberta's NDP caucus denounced the separatist movement, pledging to always remain a part of Canada. It's calling on the UCP to do the same.
I've made it very clear what my position is. It was my first bill, Alberta sovereignty within a united Canada. I want a new relationship with Ottawa.
If she continues with that, that's a real dereliction of leadership. You're talking about a referendum to break up the country, and you won't say what side you're on as a premier?
Those attending the rally say it wants Alberta to be an independent country, opening up trade with the U.S., but not to become a 51st state. A social media post by country music singer Paul Brandt appears to tease his support for the Alberta separatist movement. Brandt's post shows him walking down a highway with the lyrics to his iconic 2004 tune Alberta Bound superimposed over the photo. In bold letters, Brandt highlighted the lyric, "I've got independence in my veins." CTV News asked Brandt if this signals support for the separatist movement. His publicist referred us to a post Brandt made today where he says he wishes people cared more about child sexual exploitation than a song lyric. He did not clarify his view on separation. Brandt is the founder of Not in My City, a group dedicated to ending human trafficking. Coming up, scoring international sales.
We're seeing more tape being sold at a time, and we're seeing it more globally.
Why sports tape that promotes equality and inclusion is seeing a resurgence. Also ahead.
The food was amazing and the people were amazing. I came home and I really wanted to embrace that.
An Edmonton teacher cooks up an opportunity of a lifetime after appearing on a Japanese TV show.
We have a little bit of snow moving into western and southwestern parts of the city right now. That'll make its way across the Edmonton area through this evening. Then some sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Full look at your forecast after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A pair of Edmonton men say the hit show Heated Rivalry is giving a product they created 10 years ago new life. They've seen a resurgence in sales for a piece of hockey equipment they colorfully modified in an effort to make the sport more inclusive. Here's Nicole Lampa.
Chris Wells and Jeff McLean opened the door a decade ago, introducing hockey to rolls of rainbow-colored tape.
Pride tape came out of a research question I had 10 years ago was why are young gay male and bisexual boys dropping out of organized team sports at much younger ages than their heterosexual cisgender peers?
The Edmonton Oilers were the first in the NHL to support the initiative. Soon after, the rest in the league asked for rolls. Then Pride Tapes makers had to stick handle the NHL's short-lived attempt to ban it 2 years ago and briefly saw a jump in sales. Now they've scored in the international market with orders coming in at an unprecedented level. Thanks to the worldwide success of Heated Rivalry, a fictional Canadian gay romance show about star hockey players.
We've actually been seeing sales follow the trend of where the show is going. We're seeing more tape being sold at a time, and we're seeing it more globally.
They say sales are up 40%, recently receiving 3 bulk orders from Germany and sending boxes to UK's Elite Ice Hockey League for Pride Week.
We see a lot of players using it in warm-up, and then a lot of teams will also tape the top of the goalie stick and use that in the game as well. So we're hoping to see it used a lot.
The makers of Pride Tape are also hoping to see it used in the hit show.
We're in conversation with the folks at Crave about partnerships. Who knows, maybe in season 2, Pride Tape might make its debut in an episode.
The pair also hope the mission they set out on 10 years ago doesn't go away.
Despite having Pride Tape, we still don't have an NHL athlete, player, present or even in the past that has come out.
Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, so a little chilly out there still, but we're going to cruise all the way into February maybe.
Yeah,
nice and warm.
Warming up over the next 5-7 days. Yeah, it'll be in steps, I think, over the next 2 or 3 days, but by the end of this week should be back above 0 for daytime highs. So it's easy to forget that earlier this month, we had 2 record-setting days where we were in double digits on the positive side. We're at minus 11 right now. And cloudy skies as you look through the River Valley Sky Cams, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Minus 9 for a high this afternoon. Minus 13 in Grand Prairie. It was minus 19 in Fort McMurray. So it was still pretty chilly here in parts of east central and northeastern Alberta. There's actually still one last lingering cold warning for areas north of Fort McMurray, up in the Fort Chipewyan region. You've got some snow falling in the northwest, in and around the Grand Prairie area, and off to the west and northwest of Grand Prairie. And then here, west and south of Edmonton, we've got some light snow coming down. As we said, in some of these areas where it's kind of been persisting for a few hours now, you may have, a good 2 or 3 centimeters of accumulation. I think for most of the city, it's moved in now, it looks like, to the southwest corner of the city. A little bit of light flurry activity there in the northeast as well. It looks like for most of the city, it's no more than a dusting to maybe a centimeter of accumulation. So this is not going to be a big, significant dump of snow, and it should all be off to the east-northeast of us by tomorrow morning. We'll stay cloudy tomorrow morning, but then in the afternoon, skies start to clear from Edmonton off to the south. You're stuck under the cloud cover all day tomorrow in the north. There is a nice little upper ridge. It's going to build its way in from the west, so that warmer air in the mid and upper levels will kick out some of the cold air here at the surface as well. This was that one last push of Arctic air that came in and dropped temperatures here for one more day in east central and northeastern Alberta. Watch this purple zone, though. By tomorrow, that's way off in Saskatchewan. So from about Cold Lake south, you'll see temperatures tomorrow 2 or 3 degrees warmer than they were today. Mildest air is going to be in western and southern Alberta. Temperatures above 0 in a couple of spots. And then that warm air just continues to push further and further east as we head through the rest of this week. I think if you're in east central, northeastern Alberta, you're probably still below average until about Thursday of this week. Here in Edmonton, we'll be in the -2 to -4 range for daytime highs tomorrow and Wednesday. and by Thursday or Friday, we're back above zero. Morning lows around minus 20 here, or current temperatures rather, around minus 20 here in east central and northeastern Alberta. Your morning lows are going to get close to minus 30 in Fort McMurray and mid-minus 20s in east central Alberta. It's minus 13 in Red Deer and minus 11 in Edmonton right now with fairly light wind here in the city. Not much of a wind chill. You do have some stronger wind, though, further to the east. Lloydminster at about minus 28 and in the mid-minus 20s with wind chill in through the Fort McMurray region. So here's your little warm-up. A couple of degrees below zero Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, potentially +1 instead of a -1. Certainly by Friday through the weekend and into next week, though, the first 5 days of February, you have daytime highs way above average and above zero. As far as precipitation, well, you get that flurry activity or light snow tonight, then some clearing tomorrow and -2. And after that, it actually looks pretty dry for the Edmonton area for the next 5 to 10 days. So no fresh snow, just some melting snow by the end of this week and into the weekend.
Thank you, Josh. An Edmonton teacher had the opportunity to become a student on the other side of the world. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, his cooking skills snagged him a spot on Japanese TV.
Neil Carby's love for cooking Japanese food has taken him on a tasty journey.
Tempura is probably my favorite, overall Japanese food.
By day, Carby is a high school teacher. By night, he's whipping up delicious meals inspired by a trip to Japan.
The food was amazing and the people were amazing. I came home and I really wanted to embrace that. So then I did a series on my social media channels called Food I Missed from Japan.
Those cooking skills helped grab the attention of the Japanese TV show Who Wants to Go to Japan? The show highlights people who are interested in Japanese culture. A select few are given the chance to learn from the pros.
We hosted a little dinner party, a bunch of interview stuff. It was really cool. And then it was a surprise at the very end of that weekend that they were like, no, here, you're actually going to Japan.
Carby and his wife had 10 days to prepare for a trip of a lifetime.
To get that opportunity to actually learn from Japanese people how to make this cuisine, it just made it that much better and that much more special that we can take that and then I get to eat it all.
From sourcing local ingredients to learning from Michelin star chefs, Carby learned the in and outs of making tempura.
If an ingredient is going to taste better after it is tempura fried, you shouldn't be preparing it that way, so it's meant to showcase it.
Back in his own kitchen, Carby is putting those skills into practice.
I think that I actually do have skills and talent, and that helped to validate that a little bit and gave me a little more confidence.
Giving this teacher the ultimate field trip and an A+ for his cooking. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still ahead, growing protest in Minneapolis after another ice killing.
Well, I'm hopeful that folks can get together, that cooler heads will prevail, and that we can figure this thing out.
The White House suddenly sharing a different message than controversial immigration enforcement officials, and
it was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
Digging out record snowfall on Canada's largest city. Stay with us. Protests are growing in and around Minneapolis after the killing of Alex Preddy by a Border Patrol agent over the weekend. The nation's border czar is now making his way to Minnesota due to the growing crisis over immigration enforcement tactics. ABC's Karen Travers reports.
Today, a major change in the Trump administration's operations in Minnesota in the wake of the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy. President Trump sending his border czar Tom Homan to oversee immigration enforcement in the state, saying Homan will, quote, report directly to me.
Mr. Homan is the point person for cooperating with state and local authorities and corresponding with them, again, to achieve this level of cooperation to subdue the chaos on the streets of Minneapolis.
The White House today distancing itself from comments Saturday by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and senior advisor Stephen Miller, who accused Preddy of domestic terrorism.
I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way.
But Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also pointing the finger at Minnesota's Democratic leaders.
This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota.
Earlier Monday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called President Trump to talk about how the two can work together to find a solution to the unrest over ICE operations. The president posting on social media that he and Walz seem to be on a, quote, similar wavelength. A spokesperson for Walz saying the president agreed to, quote, look into the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Walz called the conversation productive, but in a new Wall Street Journal op-ed writes, I have repeatedly appealed to President Trump to lower the temperature, but he refuses. State and local officials say weeks of protests have had a negative impact on police officers who are spread thin and exhausted.
Well, I'm hopeful that folks can get together, that cooler heads will prevail, and that we can figure this thing out. Because regardless, the current situation is not sustainable.
Democrats are now vowing to oppose a package that includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security and 5 other departments. If they do not vote for passage, it could mean a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A record snowstorm has dropped more than half a meter of snow on parts of Ontario, including Toronto. The storm system has now made its way into Quebec and the Maritimes, where many schools were also closed and flights have been cancelled or delayed. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
In downtown Toronto, this was the scene many drivers woke up to, warned to stay off the streets, a directive that wasn't hard to follow because just getting to a main road required a lot of shoveling.
For Toronto, it's shocking, to be honest.
In a city once ridiculed for calling in the army to help clear snow, this was, by any standard, a lot to cope with, smashing records that go back more than 80 years.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
In some parts of downtown Toronto, 56 centimeters fell, with the city by far getting the worst of the snow, fueled by its proximity to Lake Ontario and the wind direction.
I don't think I've ever recalled a storm where the heaviest amount of snow was in Toronto when a storm hit the entire province, like from Windsor to Ottawa.
A storm that closed schools with kids getting a snow day and residents asked to stay home if they could. In Kitchener, so much snow was piled up on the side of an overpass. It acted like a ramp, which a pair of cars hit and launched over, one of them flipping and landing on the ground below, killing the driver. At Pearson Airport, where they also got walloped by record snow, airlines were in recovery mode after hundreds of flights were canceled on Sunday, and there were plenty more delays today.
I understand it's the weather, and safety comes first.
A storm that moved into Quebec and onto the Maritimes, where as much as 40 centimeters of snow is expected to fall in Nova Scotia by Tuesday. And in many parts of the Maritimes, schools were also closed. At Halifax's airport, dozens of flights were canceled. As for Toronto, this is now the snowiest January on record, triple the average amount, and there's still 5 days left in the month. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Not as much snow, but unusually harsh winter conditions for millions across the United States.
We won't have power for a while.
Over 800,000 people in the U.S. are facing power outages today, mostly in the southern states that were hit with 30 centimeters of snow. The bitter cold hit parts of Minnesota, with temperatures getting down to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Mississippi deployed a record-breaking 750,000 liters of ice-melting chemicals to treat icy roads. 13 deaths were reported, with incidents that included 2 sledding accidents and a snowplow hitting 2 pedestrians. An American aircraft carrier is back in the Middle East for the first time since October. The arrival of the USS Abraham Lincoln and 3 accompanying warships is sure to heighten already frayed relations between the U.S. and Iran. President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened military action if Tehran doesn't end its violent crackdown on protest. Thousands of people have been killed. Over the weekend, Iran unveiled a mural of damaged planes scattered across the deck of an aircraft carrier with the words, "If you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind." Israel has recovered the remains of the last hostage in Gaza, a key condition in the plan to end the war. Dozens Dozens of Israeli soldiers sang at the site in Gaza where the body of the hostage was found. He was a police officer who was killed in the October 7th attacks. His father met the coffin after it crossed into southern Israel with members of his police unit escorting his remains to his hometown. Israel has said it would reopen the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza after all of the hostages, living and dead, had been returned. A group of beluga whales belonging to a closed Canadian theme park may be headed south. The federal government has given conditional approval to Marineland to export 30 belugas. Marineland has said it required an urgent rescue solution to keep them alive. The park has been in discussions with several locations in the U.S. It says it's grateful that Ottawa prioritized the lives of the marine mammals. Coming up on CTV News, Parliament is back in session, tackling food insecurity as its first priority.
These payments make up for the higher level of food prices since the pandemic.
The Fed's providing a boost to the GST credit to help with expensive grocery trips. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 72 cents U.S. Oil was down 44 cents, closing the day at $60.63 a barrel. Gold gained more than $102. The TSX ended down 51 points. Dow Jones up 313. Members of Canada's Parliament are back at work after a 6-week holiday break. It kicked off a new session with a plan to tackle food insecurity. The Prime Minister says he will counter the high cost of groceries with a GST rebate for some 12 million Canadians. Here's CTV's Jacqueline Wilson.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's making affordability his top priority, announcing changes to the GST credit on Monday.
These payments make up for the higher level of food prices since the pandemic.
Beginning this July, GST credit payments will rise by 25% for the next 5 years. But those struggling right now will be happy to hear there's a one-time top-up that'll bring this year's total for a family of 4 to nearly $1,900 and a single person to $950. For future years, that'll be $1,400 and $700 respectively. For some Calgarians leaving the grocery store, they say a little helps a lot.
Good. Absolutely. You can't go wrong with that.
Well, that will help for a time. We'll have to keep on shopping and get all the deal you can get everywhere.
The changes will help about 12 million low-income Canadians, though it might not be enough to ease demand at the food bank, which currently supports a record 900 households daily.
And so certainly this quarterly payment that they'll receive with their GST rebate will be of some help. I don't know that it'll be enough help that we would see this population no longer relying on the food bank.
Another component to the announcement is a $20 million boost to Canadian food banks.
The reality is $20 million, when it's spread that thin, and particularly with the increases in demand that we've all seen across the food banking network in our country, isn't going to go terribly far.
According to political scientist Lori Williams, affordability will be the key issue for the next election.
The question for Pierre Poilievre is to focus more on what's happening within Canada and convince Canadians that he's got a better plan for improving things. And Mark Carney's got to start to show results from all of these international overtures that he's making.
The campaign-style announcement had some wondering if Canadians could be heading to the polls this spring.
Of course we're not. We're not. We're focused on results for Canadians.
Carney's minority government will need opposition support to pass this bill before the benefit can become a reality. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada's recent trade talks with China in no way violate its agreement with the U.S. and Mexico.
We have commitments under CUSMA that not to pursue free trade agreements with non-market economies without prior notification. We have no intention of doing that with China or any other non-market economy.
Carney's comments come after a number of online posts from U.S. President Donald Trump criticizing Canada's deal with China. In one post, Trump says that Canada is systematically destroying itself and that the China deal is a disaster. Trump is threatening 100% tariffs on all Canadian goods because of the deal. His administration now says the tariffs would only be applied if Canada's dealings with China deepen. A recall of select Pizza Pops products has been expanded. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says the new products include 3 cheese, deluxe, pepperoni and bacon. The warning is for possible E. coli contamination. The first recall was sent out in December. Several people were hospitalized across 7 provinces. Recalled products should be thrown out or returned to the store. A complete list of affected products can be found on the government website. Canadian consumers will soon notice a change in some of their loyalty rewards programs. BMO says this summer it's replacing Air Miles with a new loyalty card called Blue Rewards. Those with an Air Miles card will be automatically converted when it starts. Shell Canada is also replacing Air Miles. It's joining the Scene Plus loyalty program in March. Still to come, carefully curated sounds and vibrations.
Brings me into this way better place that's just so much more grounded and centered.
Some Edmontonians are finding inner balance using a technique called sound bathing.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
A relaxation technique is helping some Edmontonians stay grounded. It's a form of bathing, but there's no water involved. Connor Hogg explains.
We live in a society of people that are perpetually living on fumes. And I think, we can do that short term, but long term, it's just not feasible.
Desiree Van Domslaar says that between business clients and family, she needed something to help her take a break from the stresses of daily life.
Beginning to tune into that aspect of yourself that senses and feels.
She found sound bathing, no water involved, with an immersion into a soundscape created by former jazz pianist Marcus Fung.
It was so complex and so many notes and there were so many things and music became stressful for me, and I kind of had my own personal recovery by playing the singing bowls, which was like, I'm just playing one note and it's going to play for 3 minutes.
Fung's interest in sound bathing grew from there, incorporating more notes, as well as different kinds of singing bowls, in addition to rain sticks, ocean drums, and a gong.
Brings me into this way better place that's just so much more grounded and centered.
Fung says his job is similar to a DJ's, balancing different tones together to create the desired effect.
Sound at the most intimate or kind of innate and primal level.
This actually allows me to just forget about everything, relax completely, and then therefore my whole body gets to enjoy just the frequency and vibration that makes me feel better.
Fung says the experiences of the participants, whether they're anxious, happy, frustrated, or grateful, factor into his responses as he picks which notes to play.
People refer to it as like a reset. That makes sense.
Just a bunch of people laying down with blankets and pillows.
A break from the world of clicking and swiping for something a little more restful.
Well, we're going to close our session today.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
I feel calmer just
so calm. I was thinking it's great we're near the end of the show because how about that weather?
It's a pretty calming forecast as well. Temperatures slowly climbing over the next couple of days. It was -9 for a high today. We'll see temperatures drop to about -13 later on tonight, and then they'll start to climb. So -10, -11-ish by the time you get up tomorrow morning, and about -2 or -3 for daytime highs tomorrow and Wednesday. You get some flurries and light snow going through the Edmonton area this evening. That should be out of here by shortly after midnight. And again, I don't think you're going to wake up to a ton of snow on the ground tomorrow, but there'll be a dusting to maybe a centimeter of snow in the Edmonton area. Temperatures are just slightly below 0 for daytime highs for the next 3 days, and then above 0 by Friday, Saturday, and right through the first 5 days of February.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us, and have a great evening.